Hi. If you've never touched a spreadsheet, if you're brand new to Google Sheets, you are in the right place. So this video, I'm going to do a quick overview about how to use a spreadsheet, Google Sheets. This won't be a deep dive because I just want to do you a quick intro because if you're brand new, this might be very overwhelming. But I am going to say I do have a free mini course if you do want to dive a little bit deeper into it. I have a whole ton of videos in there, so I will link that as well. But in this video, I'm going to do a little bit of a tour with Google Sheets and show you the very basic things. So if you're a complete noob, you're like, I've never touched a spreadsheet, this is for you. So the first thing I want to say is, can spreadsheets be overwhelming and complex? Yes, of course, but they can also be simple, they could be fun, they could be beautiful, and they could be easy to create. Just because some people create very complex formulas or very complex spreadsheets doesn't mean you have to. You can actually create very simple, easy to use spreadsheets that are beautiful and that you'll actually use day after day. Or if you want to sell them, your customers will use them day after day. So please don't throw away spreadsheets just because you think it's super complex or overwhelming. I will make it super easy for you. Now, what I do want to say is, yes, at the beginning, we are learning new skills, so please give yourself grace. So if you are finding things hard or you're just a little confused, give yourself grace, give yourself a break, and then come back and try again. Don't give up on something just because it gets a little bit hard, because yes, everything can be a little bit hard, right? So please give yourself grace as we're learning. Okay, so this is Google Sheets. It is a free spreadsheet website or software that just you can sign up for using a free Google account. So it's free, you can access it online and there's an offline option, and you can access it from anywhere, from your phone, your tablet, or your computer. That's what I love. And the thing is that if you're using multiple computers, let's say you're going into work or you have spreadsheets on your computer at home, because it's in your Google Drive account, you can access it from any computer or any device. All right, so let's hop into the very basics. So up at the top here, we have our menu bar. So there's a lot of different options in here. I'm not going to dive into them yet. We also have a toolbar over here. As you can see, this long gray thing, this is our toolbar. We have a formula bar as well. And then we've got our main spreadsheet area. So I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So we have at the top here our A, B, C, all the way to Z. Those are our columns. So they help give our cells a reference point. So when I say columns, I just mean the letters. So A, B, C, this is the C column, this is the D column, you get it. We go all the way to Z, but you can always add in more columns. Once we add in more after Z, it will start back at the alphabet and go AA, AB, AC. So you can add a lot of columns afterwards if you want to. Now the numbers down the left side here, these are our rows. So again, they start at 1 and you can add a ton of rows. Currently we have 1,000 in this spreadsheet, but if I scroll all the way to the bottom, all the way, keep going. There we go. As you can see, we have 1,000 rows right now. We can always add in more rows. And there's probably a limit, but it's probably 10,000 rows or something like that. You will not reach the limit. Most of you won't. Those diehard data people might reach it, but for us regular people, we will probably never reach the maximum for our spreadsheet. But as you can see here, we can simply just add in a number. So if we want to add 10 more rows, we put in that number, click on add, and it will add 10 more rows to our spreadsheet. So it is super easy to add rows and add columns as well as delete them. But alas, let's get back to the fact that each of these rectangles is called a cell. So they each have a cell reference, which is just like the address of a cell. And we create a cell reference by choosing we see which column it's in, as well as what row it's in. So currently, the one that I've highlighted right here, we are in B2. If you're ever questioning what your cell reference or your cell address is, just click on the cell and then look up in this top corner here, left corner over here, you can see it says C3. So we're in column C, row 3. So it's super easy if we grab a whole range of cells. So what I've done is I've selected my first cell, holding the shift key on my keyboard. I've selected the very bottom right corner of the range of cells I want to select. You can see up here, it gives us an address. So we've got from C3 to E5. So that's our entire range. And you can actually copy and paste this if you ever need to do a cell reference or anything like that. or the range reference, you can easily just copy it up here. So this is a cell. This is where we can either enter in text, we can enter in numbers, we can put an image inside, we could put a link inside, we can also put formulas inside. And so I know formulas are the things that really trip up beginner spreadsheet users. That's why we start off very slow. And no, I don't think there's anyone in the world, maybe those people that do, have you ever heard of the Excel championships? They're like a sports event that goes on every year in Las Vegas where people that love Excel, which is Microsoft's version of a spreadsheet, and they all compete, and like those people might know all the formulas, but trust me, us regular people that are just using the spreadsheet for either our own selves or we're creating spreadsheets to sell in our business, we don't know every formula that's out there. So don't worry, you don't have to sit there and memorize formulas. I don't want you to think that that's what we do. Thankfully, we have ChatGPT and AI to help us with formulas, but there's easy formulas that you'll use day to day, and those ones you'll recognize and remember. But for the very ones that you use once in a while, trust me, we don't memorize those. So don't worry, don't feel like you have to sit here and memorize formulas, okay? So you can add any of those things into your cells, which is great. So if I wanted to put in text here, or text, there we go, I could just literally select the cell and start typing. So if I want to put in test there, so I just want to say that with spreadsheets, especially with Google Sheets, there's multiple ways to do the same thing. So if we want to do one thing, there's multiple ways to do it. So for example, to write my text, I could just select a cell and write in my text, then hit enter on my keyboard to go down to the next cell. Now I can also double click into a cell and start typing as well. I can also select a cell and come up to my formula bar and type in here as well. So there's multiple ways that you can do something. So just because you see something done one way doesn't mean that it's the only way that it could be done. There's multiple ways to do things. Now, when I write in my cell and I hit enter, what it'll do is it will go down to the next row below, the cell that's in the next row. But if you want to go over to the right, I gotta do my left and right, to the right side. So if I write in test here, and then I hit my tab key, it will pop me out to the next column. Instead of the next row down, it will pop me to the next column over. So those are some hacks that you can do. Now, there's also different ways we can do things as well. So if we want to use different functions within the spreadsheet, we can select the cell, we can use our menu bars up here. So we've got a lot of different options. And like I said, in my free mini course, the Wild Heart Spreadsheet Academy, I literally take you through all this. Like it goes a little bit in depth and shows you all the different features. So if you want to learn more about all the different things, there's different ways, there's videos in there where you can dive deep into them and take some time. I don't want to make this video like an hour long, so I'm trying not to. But let's say, for example, if you want to insert a new column, you can come over to insert and go to column and then do insert column to left or insert column to the right. Now I can also select the cell, right click, and then insert one column to the left. So there's many different ways you do it. There's also shortcuts. So if you see these little symbols over here, I'm currently using a Mac computer, so it's going to show me my shortcuts for a Mac. If you're on a PC, it should show you the shortcuts for a PC. But there's also shortcuts to do as well, because if I wanted to copy, let's say I want to write my name in here, so I'm just going to write in Michelle. And let's say I want to copy this. I can either right click and cut copy, select copy, not cut copy. And then, or I can use the shortcut, which would be my command key with the C, or I could go to edit and copy over here. So like I said, just doing one thing, there's multiple different ways to do it. You don't need to memorize all of them. I'm just saying that if you see something done one way, there's always other options to do it as well. So multiple ways to do things. All right, so let's talk about our columns and our rows. We've already talked about our cells. Actually, I'm just going to show you before we hop over to the columns and the rows, is that you can actually merge multiple cells together. So if you want to create a bigger section, we can select a cell, holding the shift key, Then you're going to go select the bottom right corner of the range you want to select. So let's say I want to go all the way to over here. I'm going to select the bottom right corner. And then I can come over here to our merge cells and click that, and it makes it one big cell instead of all the smaller little mini cells. So that's something you'll probably be using a lot as well. I like to use that very often. So that's something to think about. I'm just going to unmerge. So to unmerge it, you can either just click on the merge cells button, or you can click on the arrow and click unmerge. Okay, so columns. There's a lot of different things we could do with our columns and rows. We can resize them. So if you want to resize a row, you can resize a column. You can select the column, you can right click, and you can click on resize column. So if I want to make this 150 pixels wide, I could do that and click OK, and it'll resize that. You can also resize multiple ones at the same time. So if you want to select your column and you want to select multiple ones in the same that are right beside each other, you'll select your first column, hold your shift key, and then select the last column that you want to select in your range. So let's say I want to select these 4 columns. I would select the first one, which is F. Then I will hold this shift key and then select I, so it selects all 4 of those. And then I can also resize these all together. I can also insert, delete, clear the column. I can hide the columns. There's a lot of things you could do with columns. So if you ever need more, you can always add more. If you want to delete some, you can select the ones that you want to delete, right click, and then delete them. Go right ahead and do that. You can also, if you want to select different columns that aren't in the same range, like they're not all beside each other, you could use that. On a Mac, you're going to use the Command key. On a PC, you're going to use the Control key. So I'm going to select my first column, holding my Command key on a Mac, Control on a PC, and then you can select other columns. So again, holding that same button, you're just going to select all the different ones, and then you can right click, see where my little grabby hand is, you can right click and resize those selected columns. So let's say I'm gonna make those 150 as well, and then click OK. So you got lots of different options. You can also select a cell, and then on the right side of that selected cell, as you can see, I have my little hand grab here. If I hover above right to the border of it, you can see it now goes into straight line with 2 pointed arrows. I can grab that and pull, or I could pull to make it smaller. So I can go bigger or smaller. So you can also do that manually if you want as well. Like I said, there's many different ways to do the same thing. But you can resize columns, you can delete them, you can hide them. So if you don't want to see one specifically, maybe it has data in there you don't want to be seen, you can always just select the column, right click, and then hide column, and it will hide it. So it's these 2 little arrows that if you want to see it again, just click on one of the arrows and it will pop out. Yeah. So the same things with our rows, we can select a whole bunch of rows at the same time using the shift key, or if you want to select individual ones, use the command key or the control key on a PC. So we can select multiple, we can also resize them, we can hide rows, we can clear them, we can delete them. Lots of different options. So that's the basis of our cells. So you're able to write your text in them. My favorite way to write text to them in them is to double click though inside of my cell. So then that way it doesn't copy any formatting, especially if you're copying, let's say text from ChatGPT, or maybe you're copying it from an email, or you're just copying it from somewhere else that's not inside the spreadsheet, and it might have formatting on it. So it might be bolded, italicized, maybe it's a different font, and you don't want to copy that formatting over. The easiest way to do it is to select a cell, double click in, so that way you've got your little moving cursor, and then paste in whatever it is. So you can do that easily as well. All right, let's do a quick overview of our menu. So we've got our file, which is where you can make a copy of your spreadsheet. You can also rename it. You can trash it if you want to delete it. You can also print it. And then there's settings if you want to dive into that. For edit, we've got a lot of our options, which is our undo and redo button, which is also right here. These are very, very handy, especially if you make a mistake, you can just always undo. Then we also got our cut, copy, paste, different piece specials. If you need to delete anything, you could do that, and find and replace you might need. Under view, you can show different things. You can show formulas, you can show grid lines, formula bar, protected ranges. You can freeze rows. So if I want to freeze a specific row, so I can select, let's say this row, I can go to view, freeze. up to row 4. And what that does is it freezes the top area and it allows me to scroll around at the bottom. So this is a great way if you have specific information up at the top, maybe like your headers of your table, and you want to be able to see the data below without losing the headers. So you can always see which column has which data in it. You can freeze those. You can also freeze by column as well. So if you select your column, so I'm going to select column B, go to view, freeze up to column B, or you could choose no columns, 1 column, 2 column, up to that. So I'm just going to say up to B, so then I can also scroll to the left and right, and then it will keep my data here as well. The shortcut is you can also just drag them back if you want to get rid of them. So dragging them back to the top or to the left side. You can also zoom in if you want. You have your little zoom here as well. Insert, we can insert more cells, rows, columns. The easiest way to add in more columns or rows is to select the amount of columns or rows you want to add. So let's say I want to add in 5 new rows. I can select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to hold my shift key, grab the 5th one, right click, and then I can insert 5 columns to left or right. So that's the easiest way to add in more columns or rows. Insert, we can also insert images inside the cell or over cells. We could do charts. Like, this is a lot. I know you can add links, checkboxes, drop downs, emojis. You've got a lot of different options here. Formatting, so if you want to format stuff, lots of different options. Like I said, in the free mini course, if you want to deep dive into those options, I fully go through everything you need to know about Google Sheets. But what I want you to know really is that you can create anything inside of a Google Sheet. Whatever is a planner or what you can design on a piece of paper, you can put in Google Sheets. Like spreadsheets were, I think, originally made just to track a lot of data. And a lot of people used it for like accounting or bookkeeping or like expenses, so more financial like stuff. But you can create weekly planners, monthly calendars, checklists. I've done an advent calendar in it, bingo cards. Like if you ever want to do for like your goal planning and you want to create like a bingo card goal planner type of thing, I've created those in them. Like, you can create so many different cool things inside of Google Sheets. Even in the free mini course that I told you about, the Wild Heart Spreadsheets Academy, you actually create a really pretty, so let me just hop over so you can see. So you create a really pretty weekly planner. So let me just quickly show you this. So this one is newbie level, brand new. Again, this is where I dive into how to use Google Drive, how all the basics are. Then we hop over to beginner level where we talk about fonts, colors, borders, merging, copy and paste, rows and columns. We've already dived into a little bit of that here, but like it goes way in depth there. Intermediate level, we do images, formulas, very basic formulas, by the way, drop downs, checkboxes, formatting, having a little mini pop-up calendar. Advanced level, we talk about custom fonts, conditional formatting, and sharing your spreadsheet. And then I have a little ChatGPT bot where you can get some spreadsheet ideas. So that's really cool. This is all free. You can sign up for this, no problem. I'm going to link it below and you can dive in there. But I just want you to know, like, you could do some really cool things. You can create a weekly planner, like you could do your budget as well. You can do a content creation like calendar inside of Google Sheets. There's so many things you can do, and there's so many cool, unique things you could do in Google Sheets. That's why I love spreadsheets. So I don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, like I'm so overwhelmed. Like I'm never going to learn it because there's so much to learn. You can learn the basics and create very beautiful spreadsheets that either you yourself use or your own customers, if you want to sell it in your shop, can use, and they will love it because people love simple spreadsheets that work. And that's my goal, is to show you that you can create simple, beautiful spreadsheets that are fun to create. You're going to have fun creating awesome things. So that's my little introduction. I didn't want to overwhelm you too much, but I do want you to actually go jump into the course. So then that way you can start learning all the nitty gritty little things. There's a lot to dive into. Not a lot. I don't want to overwhelm you. You're not overwhelmed, but there's little things that you want to learn about, like how to change fonts, how to change the size, how to add borders, how to do different things. And those, as you watch the small short videos, you're going to learn a lot, and then you're going to be able to create the most beautiful spreadsheets. Like, let me just show you some examples. Here's some really cool spreadsheets that you can actually create in Google Sheets. And know that, yes, these are templates. I created them. They're a little bit more advanced than probably what you would start with. But just think this is a level that you can get to, and it's not that hard to get to this level. Like this is the to-do list where you can track your top 3 tasks for each day. You have a task list. There's an actual like progress bar that tracks your progress. You got a notes area. Like this is a very simple weekly to-do list that you can actually create. We've got over here a cleaning schedule. So like in order to track all the different cleaning tasks that we have, our daily tasks, our weekly tasks, our monthly tasks, this is all made in Google Sheets. Then you can do something like a Christmas gift tracker. So if you want to track all the different gifts, it's very simple, easy to use. So it's great. It tracks everything for the gifts. Then we've got our year at a glance planner. So again, calendars, tracking and like writing down different events for each month of the year. Then we've got our Christmas dashboard. Like this is some cool stuff you could do. So I'm not saying you're going to learn this all tomorrow, but I'm just showing you some of the cool things you could do where like I have an advent calendar that as each day goes past for the countdown to Christmas, it actually turns into a photo. So usually it's these gifts, images, and it has 25 of them. But as the days get closer to Christmas, it actually starts turning into an image. We've got little trackers and whatnot. You could do like stockings, you could do cards, shopping lists, order trackers. Like there's so many cool things you can actually do in a spreadsheet. This is the trip dashboard that I've created. So they've got lots of different options here, like a monthly calendar. Don't mind, some of this is like test data that I was playing with, so don't mind that. But you've got a lot of different options. So that's what I want to show you is that you can create some really, really cool things inside of Google Sheets. Again, because you're a newbie, you're going to start off very simple, learn the basics, and then start designing your own simple spreadsheets. And then as you get more and more skills and you get more and more confident in your skills, you're going to start expanding. You're going to create all these cute little features. You can add some clip art, you can add some progress bars, drop downs, check boxes, conditional formatting where if you check off, so let me just zoom in here so you can see it a little better. When you check off a task, it automatically crosses out and changes color. Like there's a lot of really cool, unique things you could do. So I just want to show you that yes, you're a beginner. It's okay. You're going to learn these skills. Take the time, go join the mini course that's for free. Again, it's free. Go learn these little things and then start creating your own spreadsheets and start testing and learning new things. So let me know if you have any questions about this video. I'm happy to answer any questions. Also, let me know if you have any requests for tutorials. I'm happy to create some videos for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Bye.